we should definitely try to not be too stupid today.
What?
Do you know what I mean? Just rein it in a little bit and be more sensible than usual.
Why would we want to do that?
Well, because, Tom, I reckon there's a lot of listeners out there who are listening to this for the first time.
Right.
Not our regular consumers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like this is our opportunity to
Okay.
kind of grab them
Yeah.
and bring them into the fold.
Well, let's just keep it dead serious then.
Yeah,
Let's
dead
just do it.
straight. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
We can do that. Yeah, cool.
Keep it normal.
Yeah.
All right, Tom?
Yeah.
Keep it in the box.
Oh, we will do.
Bonjour, my little writery chums. Welcome to the Failing Writers Podcast.
Hello there, John.
Hello, Tom. Oh, you're an elf as well.
I am, because we're doing our flash fiction competition, and this is. I'm not. Is this not? This is silly, isn't it? We said
What? What do you mean, silly?
I know the idea is we're elves for the festive
Yeah,
competition.
because it's Christmas and it's festive.
I don't know if it's gone to.
Oh, because of the whole trying to be sensible
yeah,
thing.
I think maybe
Oh,
silly new listener. Yeah,
Right.
I think.
should we
Should we
not
just-
do the elves? Is that what
Let's
you
not
mean?
do that.
And just keep it simple and sensible.
Let's just start again.
Bonjour, my little writery chums. Welcome to the Failing Writers Podcast.
This is it then. This is the big launch of our annual flash fiction competition for 2024.
Yes. I reckon there'll be a few people out there who want to get their hands on that 500 squids.
500 literal English pounds, John.
500
I mean,
pounds.
imagine those riches.
I know. And not only that, Tom, it's right when everyone needs it, when they're most skint around Christmas.
Yeah.
So,
The festive season.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, isn't it?
It
And that's
is.
why we thought that will be a good theme for the entire competition.
exactly, Tommy. Exactly. Let's make it a festive theme, have a bit of a change, do it a bit
Yeah.
later in the year.
Well, I said it should be a Christmas theme, didn't I? But then you went all woke and said, yeah.
we don't want to exclude anyone.
No, it's
do we,
very nice. It's
Tommy?
nice of you.
I
It's
think
nice of
it's-
you to be
yeah.
included. So it's festive across the board. Any kind of tinsel you want to get out is fine by us.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's wintry type festivities, isn't it? It's your Christmas, your Hanukkah, your solstice, Diwali, whatever you want to do is fine with us. We're very open to any suggestions.
And the same for the genre as well. It's an open genre, isn't it? So it could be horror, it could be historical fiction if you want to write that kind of thing.
Precisely.
It could be comedy. It could be
Yeah, sci-fi, a sci-fi
yeah,
Christmas.
yeah.
And who is sponsoring this great big festival of love?
Well, do you know what, John? The lovely, lovely people at Scrivener have once again said, yes, we will sponsor your fantastic... This isn't exactly the words they used. We will sponsor your amazing competition. It really is the highlight of our year.
Amazing.
Yeah, so huge thanks to Scrivener for being there for us. Brings a tear to our eye.
Hey, do you think this is a good opportunity to drop one of their adverts in?
I mean, we may as well while we're here.
Let's do it.
John, I know that this is one of your brilliant analogies and has something to do with Scrivener, but
It does.
I'm struggling to see the connection.
Well, Tom, I'm glad you asked. Before I answer the question, allow me to just turn the speed up a little bit on this treadmill.
What? Well, hang on. No,
And let me just tilt this so you're going uphill a bit as well.
Wait
go.
a second.
Oh, let me also give you this huge pile of heavy documents.
I
And
don't know.
hopefully,
I can't.
Tom, hopefully you can see exactly what point I'm trying to make.
I really don't.
Well, don't worry. Give it a minute. I'll let you work it out.
Can you just tell me?
No, go on. Think about it. I'll just tweak the speed up a little bit more while you figure it out.
Please, John. We just finish the advert.
I'm trying to make the point, Tom, that writing a book is hard enough, isn't it?
Yes, it
We
is.
both know that, don't we, Tommy? Because, well, we've been doing it, haven't we? We've both been writing too, haven't we? You and me.
Yes. Quicker.
So why on earth would you want to make it any harder than it needs to be?
Okay, all right,
Huh?
okay. Can we stop now then?
So, use Scrivener. Scrivener is the trusted writing app for writers across the world. Its ingenious interface makes it easier to plot, to plan, to research, to carve up into nice bite-sized bits. Keep an eye on your word count and ultimately make it much easier to write your book.
Great analogy.
Making the whole process much less daunting and much less likely to end in catastrophe. If you could keep it down, Tommy, I'm trying to make an advert here.
I think I've hit my difficult midpoint.
Give yourself the best chance of success when you write. Use Scrivener. Go to literatureandlatte.com, use the code FAILING and get 20% off. Because why the heck would you want to make writing harder than it already is?
Well, that was an hilarious advert, John, wasn't it?
It was
that was
nice.
Very, very good.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
it was. It was quality.
Wonderful.
High
Wonderful
quality. So, Tom, let's also talk about, because obviously the £500, that's the big pull.
Yeah.
We know that. But what else do the people get?
Well, the winner will have their story professionally produced and voiced up and played out on the show.
Yep.
Runners-up, there'll be a couple of runners-up that get Scrivener, which is a fantastic piece of writing software.
Yep.
They will get that, as well as their stories read out. And I'm sure we will probably, assuming all the things we get in aren't absolute tripe, we're assuming we're going to have a decent standard again
Yeah.
this year. We'll be picking our favourites, probably to do a whole episode after as well,
Yeah.
of reading out people's stories.
We might even throw in some merch.
Yeah.
If they're really good.
And we should talk about the nuts and bolts of the boring housekeeping of this year's competition.
Okay, yeah, because it's slightly different, isn't it?
Only a tiny bit. It's 350 words maximum.
And that's not including the title.
Yeah, not including the title, obviously. And the deadline is Friday the 13th of December at midday UK time. There's still the phrase you need to include in your entry, which we will talk about a little bit later on.
Yep.
You still send in your entries to our email, failingwriterspodcast@gmail.com. But last year we had more than a handful of entries that were obviously AI,
Yeah.
which was, well, annoying, frustrating, slightly pointless because
Because you still felt like you had to read them, didn't you? It's
Yeah,
like,
because
is
you
this
want to-
AI? This feels like yeah, it's AI by the
Yeah.
time you'd finished reading it. And I think it's almost too tempting, isn't it? If it's free, it's almost like, well, I might as well.
Yeah, so what we thought this
bang something
year,
in.
much as it goes against the grain, is we're going to charge an arbitrary amount of £1 to enter the competition.
Hopefully, just to put off those robot people.
Yeah, so it doesn't flag up on their searches for free competitions with big cash prizes, hopefully. So that will be done through PayPal, just using our email address. So you just need to attach your PayPal receipt to your entry. Simple as that. Dead simple.
Dead easy.
And if you want to send us more than £1, we are very easily bribed and swayed. So just sky's the limit with that one, really. However, obviously don't do more than £500 because that's not going to work for you.
No.
You got to kind of gamble what it's worth. I would say probably in the £100 territory gives you a decent chance. But,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. It'll all be in the terms and conditions.
Don't do that.
I am
Don't do
obviously,
that,
just for
people.
clarity,
Yeah.
I am joking,
Good.
obviously. It's not me you need to bribe, is it? Because this year, again, we have managed to unearth another fantastic judge, haven't we, John?
We have. On Earth sounds a bit like you digged them up.
Dig them up. What
Dug
tense?
them up.
What tense of verb is that?
I don't know. I'm a writer, Tom. I can play with words. That's
Yeah.
what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got the fabulous Emily Devane. She
Yeah.
is a Bath Flash Fiction Award winner, Northern Writers Award winner. She's written a lot of flash fiction in her time, and she has agreed to be our star judge.
And she's also agreed, quite importantly, to give us the phrase that needs to be included. Don't know what that's going to be.
No, that will be coming up in a moment. You need that as well. That's very important. You can't enter the competition without it.
Yeah.
So keep your ears peeled. Can you keep your ears peeled?
I think you can keep
your
it
ears
sharpened,
ear,
open, pointed.
pointed. That's good. We'll go with that.
Keep your ears oiled.
Keep your ears nice and oiled. Let's go and have a chat with our amazing star judge, Emily Devane.
The train now arriving at platform 2 is the 10:28 to Casterbridge, Market Snodsbury, Scarfolk, Ankh-Morpork, terminating at Airstrip 1.
Emily Devane, hello.
Hello.
How are you feeling after that lovely entrance?
I'm feeling
On your-
mysterious and strangely vintage.
It was, it was lovely. It was quite low key, wasn't it, compared to last year? It was nice.
We were quite pleased that you were actually on time.
Yeah.
Because there were some leaves on the line earlier, but that's good that didn't stop you getting here.
Yeah, so I'm here.
Before we ask you to announce what the special phrase is that has to be included in all entries for our flash fiction competition, we should probably, first of all, explain to any listeners who haven't come across you before why you're so highly qualified to be our judge. Should we just quickly go through? You're a Bath Flash Fiction winner. You won the Northern Writers Award. You've placed in lots of other awards. You've done loads of workshops on flash fiction for various things, for London Writers Cafe, for Retreat West, I think Writers HQ. And you've even judged the Bath Flash Fiction, the Bath Flash Fiction Award.
I have indeed.
Possibly overqualified to be doing this, to be honest.
And my winner was Kathy Hoyle.
It
so,
was,
yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
Weird circular thing.
Anyway, enough idle chit-chat. People are listening to this because they want to know what the secret phrase is that they need to include in their 350-word flash fiction piece. Emily, reveal the phrase.
Okay, the phrase is too many forks.
No, seriously, reveal the actual phrase.
That is the actual phrase. The actual phrase is too many forks.
Okay.
I like that a lot. I think that's good.
That's tricky to get in a way.
It's a challenge.
I'm not thinking Guy Fawkes, but I guess that's a possibility, isn't it?
Someone writes a flash fiction piece about Columbo, the TV detective. That works as well. Brilliant. There's all kinds of things we can do with this. Cutlery, all sorts, garden forks. Oh, this is too easy.
I did once actually sit in a restaurant next to Peter Fawkes, would you believe? But
what?
I did.
And when he'd finished his meal, did he order something else? Did he get the waiter over? Just one more thing. You know what's good about that, though? There's lots of things good about that. It's a lovely, slightly surreal phrase. But it's only 3 words as well. And because it's only 350 words limit this year, that's quite a nice, modest amount of words to be having to put in your piece. Leaves you around 347 words of your own choosing, which I think's nice.
Well, exactly. I thought it'd be kind.
Can we ask where the inspiration for this amazing 3-word sentence? I mean, was it a draw-based situation or what happened?
I think it's because I've been watching The Bear, and there's a lot of fork content.
The fork episode, yeah. There's the entire fork episode, isn't there, really?
Yeah, there's a lot of fork stuff happening, and I think maybe I'm not saying there are too many forks.
Yeah.
But forks, definitely a thing.
Yeah.
In that program. So I'm this is brought to you by the inspiration of Brief Encounter and The Bear, which would make an interesting mashup, I think.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, there's the phrase, people. So write that down. Too many forks.
So Emily, let's have a little natter now we've done the important stuff. How long have you considered yourself a writer?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I guess I've always written since I was little. I used to write stories all the time. They were rubbish, but I wrote a lot. And then I had a long period of being a history teacher when I didn't really write much because I was too busy making worksheets and writing comments on the end of essays. But I would say probably 10 years now I've been sort of writing more seriously, sort of entering competitions and that kind of thing.
And why Flash, Emily? Why is that? How did you get into that? Why is that specialty? I know you write other formats of short stories and things as well, but what is it about Flash? What got you into that?
I think one of the things that drew me to Flash, I first wrote Flash when I didn't even know what it was. And it was a local competition back when we lived in London. We lived in Haringey, and there was a competition to go to a local gallery and look at this art and choose a picture to write a story about. And it was judged by Robert Shearman, who of course wrote episodes of Doctor Who and kind of writes quite creepy stuff. So I thought, it's being judged by Robert Shearman, I will write something quite sinister. And it won. I think it was about 100 words. It was really tiny. And my prize was coffee and cake at the local cafe, which is kind of cool.
That's nice.
Do you feel you peaked too early with that, Emily? That
coffee and cake,
maybe just kind of lured you into a world that didn't live up to its promises.
It was particularly fine, coffee and cake. I'm not going to lie.
That's the dream.
That was a great prize. But I would say that I'd already at that point I discovered short stories, and I still love short stories, but I did discover that flash fiction, weirdly for somebody who talks so much, flash fiction is something that did suit me. I guess it's because you have to really focus in and make it as perfect as possible. There's something about that it feels like a puzzle, and I like that. Whereas novels just feel sprawling and big to me. It feels like a very
Well,
big...
that's it. You've got all these different storylines, haven't you, that you've got to keep track
Yeah.
of.
Well, exactly.
In essence, there's too many forks, isn't there?
There are. Maybe
Nice.
that's the issue. Too many forks.
Too many forks.
It's true. I mean, I do love writing short stories. I would love to write something longer. I just think I am somebody who has lots of ideas, and I do quite like making things as perfect as they can be. And I think you have to let go a little when you're writing longer.
Yeah, that can become a bit destructive, can't it, for novel writing?
yeah.
You end up getting yourself in little circles that you can't escape from.
Absolutely. I also really need a deadline.
Right.
And then I'll be like, okay. And I'll send it about 5 minutes to midnight, because that's just how I work.
We would encourage people entering this competition not to do that, because it means we have
Don't listen
we
to
have
me.
an
Don't
we have
listen
an
to
awful
me.
lot of stuff to read
Yeah.
at very last minute.
That
then.
could make our
Yeah,
life very
yeah.
difficult.
I would encourage you not
Yeah,
to do as I do, and do it earlier.
So regarding the competition,
Yeah.
and I appreciate this probably isn't the easiest question to answer, but what will you be looking for in a winning submission?
And the reason this isn't a particularly easy question is because this is an open genre
Yeah.
competition as well. So I think that makes it a bit different, doesn't it? That you've got all
Yeah.
kinds of, could be creepy horror, could be
Yeah.
sci-fi. Yeah.
The theme is festive, but it can be anything.
Yeah, no, I love writing of all genres, honestly. I'm very open to whatever people send my way.
Brilliant. Good news.
I think one of the things with Flash that is really important is to make sure there is some sense of story, so that when you get to the end of it, you feel like there was a reason for you reading that. So it's not a description or just like a wonderful setting or an anecdote. It feels like that's a story, and there's been some kind of shift.
Yeah. So it's still got an arc. It might be
Yeah.
a tiny little arc. but
Yeah,
it's still,
it could even be that the person stays in the same position they were in at the very beginning of the story, but there's been some sort of possibility
Yeah.
of something else suggested. The other thing I really love is particularity, which you can probably tell from my too many forks phrase, which is I like to read stuff that feels fresh, like I've not read or seen that before.
Yeah.
And it feels very much that person could only have written that, that it's the story that you were destined to write, rather than something that's been done before. So I'm very interested in particular use of language, so people using words in kind of quite playful ways, and people using humour if they are funny naturally, people really leaning into what makes
Who
them
they
them.
are,
Yeah,
in a way.
exactly. And I
Yeah,
think you can tell
interesting.
that when you're reading a story, that there's a sort of confidence to the writer on those winning pieces. If you look, for example, at the Bath Flash Fiction Award, those winning and place pieces, they often just have such a strong identity.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the writer just hit this perfect kind of groove and went for it.
Right.
So that's what I love.
So it's very much about being yourself, doing what you do, and not. It's not like there are any themes or particular approaches that tend to do well in Flash competitions.
There's been quite a lot of talk about this, about what kinds of themes people tend to send into competitions, and often people write about death, often relationship breakdowns. There's a lot of themes that come up frequently, and I think that's fine. That's what people want to write about. Often winning stories are quite sad, and I think it's a real shame there aren't more humorous stories as well, because that can be done really, really brilliantly too. So I'm not averse to stories that make me laugh, stories that make me feel sad, stories that give me the chills. There's different types of story that I think can move the reader, and it doesn't matter how you're being moved. It's going to have some kind of emotional impact.
Now you've said that, Emily, in my head I'm thinking that Too Many Forks has the potential to be a hilarious last line punchline
Yes,
for something,
it
doesn't
does. Particularly when you've been sitting reading the whole story thinking, where's the phrase, and it comes.
And just that last line just comes in.
We have had that before, haven't we? We've had the phrase kind of used as a little bit of a playful twist in some way, which can be quite nice.
Yeah, it's always interesting getting the entries in, seeing how people weave it in. And some people like really weave it in so it's almost invisible in there. Some people will leave it as kind of like that last, here's your phrase, and it's kind of building up to it.
Yeah, like a sort of punchline, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's some people that just try and get it over and done with early on, which is fine. It's included, it ticks the boxes. But you can see they've kind of gone, got to remember to put the phrase in. I'll put it in the second line. There we go. That's done. I can concentrate on writing the actual story now.
Yeah, and I hope that the forks won't distract and, it can be used in an interesting way, hopefully. But, talking about punchlines, I think punchlines are tricky because obviously if you write funny stories, they build almost like a joke, I guess. And it can be good to have a twist ending in a story. But I do think there needs to be some emotional heft as well, some sense there's something underneath that.
I was going to ask you how you feel about a slightly twisty ending.
Yeah.
Because they're not as kind of in vogue as maybe in the past they might have been.
But I tell you who's brilliant at the twist ending, at doing a really amazing twist ending, but also doing it really artfully, is Caris Davis. I don't know if you've read her short stories, but she's really brilliant at using narrative and there being a narrative arc, and sometimes kind of really sort of pulling something out at the end that you weren't expecting, but it doesn't feel contrived. It doesn't feel like she's tricking you as such. It feels like it's all seeded in the story, but it's clever because there's something unexpected.
That's when you know you've hit gold, isn't it? When you read it and you, oh God, and then you kind of go back to read it again. You have to read it again,
Exactly.
I've just thinking about Flash that really works, and I was thinking for me, it's very, very much what you were saying before, but getting some kind of truth, and we've talked about this before, haven't we, Tom? Getting to some difficult truth in your life is often a really great place to start with Flash. And you've got a lovely quote from the end of your Q&A with the Bath Flash people, and you say, have a go, send in the piece that feels like you've put a piece of your heart on the page, the piece where you took a risk, the piece that makes you feel a little bit scared to share. I thought that was nice.
That was an earlier, slightly more eloquent version of me, wasn't it? Well done, past Emily.
No, but that was, I think that's really good. If you're a little bit nervous to share it, it's probably quite good, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You're revealing something about yourself.
Yeah, if it feels a bit raw, feels a bit like I'm opening myself up.
Definitely.
Here. This is a bit...
Definitely. Because you're it's just this idea of writing outside of your skin. It's almost like that will come across on the page for sure. If you play it really safe, then you're more likely to make the sorts of choices other people have done. And that links back to my point about making it particular to you rather than it being something that you've read before over and over. It feels urgent and alive on the page. And I'm quite a fan of writing a first draft all in one go and then editing, of course, because that's a really important thing to do, but trying not to lose that aliveness. I know that's not even a word, but try not to lose something of that essence of that first draft, because often it will have a real urgency in the rhythm. It'll have how you first conceived of that piece will be in that first draft. So it was a good idea to keep it. I know this is something Kevin Barry talks about, the short story writer, who I think is brilliant. He talks a lot about writing drafts and saving your earlier ones and then just going back, because sometimes in the editing you just slightly lose the essence of the story. So it's just about getting that balance between the two. That's good.
I think that's true. I think sometimes you can overcook, can't you? In a similar way to a drawing or art, if you overplay with things, you definitely lose something in the process. Yeah, good advice.
Definitely.
By the way, Emily, what do you think of festive as a theme?
Yeah, I think festive is a good theme because you can apply it to any culture, I'm assuming.
Yep, absolutely.
So it's open wide. Yeah. I like festive. It's a good word.
And there's lots of, if we're talking about Christmas and things, there's lots of emotions and all sorts tied up from childhood and adulthood and the outside world and everything, isn't there? There's a lot of material in there.
Absolutely. And there's a lot you can do with, and this sounds like a really pretentious use of the word, but juxtaposition, because Christmas and those festive times of year are supposed to be a certain thing. So when they're not the same as they're supposed to be, or people feel they should be, and often there's a lot of pressure around them to be a certain way.
Yeah,
So I
the
think,
weight of expectation. Yeah.
there's a lot that you can do with that. So I say, Festive, you can kind of really play with expectations there. Doesn't all need to be cozy. It doesn't all need to be, like those TV adverts.
Well, I was just going to say, I'm looking forward to getting the winner's story and us producing it up and then using underneath it a 1980s rock song that's been re-recorded by a quirky acoustic female artist. I believe that's what you meant to do on all these Christmas adverts, isn't it now?
Nice.
It's like obligatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emily, is there anything else? Like maybe if we were to buy one collection of flash fiction to kind of get an idea of what great flash fiction is, or if there's a great flash fiction online magazine or a great online space maybe for burgeoning flash fiction writers.
Okay, well, there are some brilliant flash fiction communities out there. If you want to read really some of the best, I'd say, cutting edge flash fiction, I would say go and read Smoke Long Quarterly. That would be my big tip.
Okay, great.
Because, Chris Allen, who runs that journal, he has incredible taste in flash, and the whole team, they have a very sort of diverse and interesting team, and they choose some brilliant stuff. And also every piece they publish with a little interview.
All right, great.
So if you're looking at craft, if you're looking at learning about how flash is written, that can be really, really good. So I recommend Smoke Long Quarterly. And I also think if you were looking for an anthology of flash, I would highly recommend, and this sounds really biased because I have a piece in it, but the Fuel Flash anthology that was edited by Tanya Hirschman, because what she did is she put together this anthology of winning flash fiction pieces from various different competitions.
Oh, great.
So it's really, really good at showing you just how diverse winning flash can be.
So good variety. Yeah.
Yeah. What frustrates me is when people think there's a certain sort of checklist that you need to go through, and that's why I'm a bit careful about saying too much about how to do it, because I think it really is something that can be reinvented by whoever's writing it. And I love that when people come new into the flash fiction world, they're bringing their own spin on it. So by all means, read lots of other flash fiction, but be aware it's a brilliantly playful form.
Yeah.
You can play with the structure, you can play with genre, you can do so much with it. But there are so many wonderful places like Writers HQ, which Kathy Hoyle's very involved with. That's a wonderful UK based community, I would say, if people are getting into flash and they want to learn.
Fantastic.
I've answered that question in a very roundabout way, but
It was perfect. It was a brilliant answer. Thank you, Emily.
not very succinct for a flash writer, hey?
I'm afraid you've gone over the 350 word limit.
Do you know one of my other tips about flash is I just hyphenate everything?
Oh, God, yeah. I did that recently. I wondered if that was just me or
You just
everybody.
hyphenate the whole
Just to
piece.
be clear, people, we will frown upon that. I'm going to edit that bit out.
5,000,
Sorry.
5,000 words,
Sorry,
but just
I'm so
lots of
naughty.
hyphenation. Yeah, we don't want that.
Emily, thank you so much. Next time we speak to you in a few weeks' time, we will be finding out who has won. You will
Yes.
be picking your winner, so that will be exciting.
That will be exciting indeed. Yes, I'm excited to see what people make of the theme
Yeah.
and how they incorporate those forks, really.
Yeah, good luck with that, people.
Well, wasn't she lovely, Tom?
Wasn't she lovely? So that's the judge you've got to impress with your writing,
Yeah.
which with her back catalogue and history and mantelpiece full of trophies, a little bit daunting, but she said she likes all kinds of stuff, all kinds of genres. So I think have a play with it, have some fun, and just be yourself. That was the advice, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Be yourself.
Yeah,
Bring something to the party.
We've had some pretty amazing judges, haven't we? Thinking
Yeah,
back,
yeah.
we've been quite lucky, really. We've had Tim Craig, we've had Rosie
Yeah.
Wilby, who brought a nice, fresh view on things, and of course the brilliant Kathy Hoyle.
Last year, yeah.
Proper Flash heroes.
Yeah, great stuff.
Speaking of which, Tommy,
Mm.
Flash heroes. For the first time this year, we can actually say we've got Flash credentials too, can't we?
Yes, I guess.
Because you got through to the Flash
Yeah.
Flood winners. And would you believe, Tom, despite both of us laughing at the fact that I entered the Bridport Flash Fiction Prize, and that might be aiming a little bit high.
Yeah.
I was shortlisted.
Wow.
I've got a Bridport shortlisted flash fiction piece.
Brilliant.
What? Which, it's not first place. It's not even runner-up or anything, but it's something, isn't it?
It's better than we expected, isn't it?
It's a lot better than we expected.
A lot better. Brilliant.
So how about that? It turns out you do need to actually submit things. Don't
Yeah,
you?
that is a big step along the way. Yeah, it definitely helps. Definitely helps.
Yeah.
Well, can we? Have you got it? Can we hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
I carry it around with me all the
you
time
wanna.
now.
So this is a little piece I knocked off called A List of the Contents of My Flat 3 weeks after you left.
Oh,
I've gone for the long title
gone
thing.
for the sadness already.
Yeah. The ghost of your smile lingers on a wine glass next to the bed, with your spine-broken, page-bent copy of The Unbearable Lightness of Being. A tea-stained quilt, a melodramatic gesture the morning Roe v. Wade was overturned. Fuck's sake, I said, fetching a flannel from the bathroom. On the fridge, a selfie on Conic Hill. You, hair blown upwards, a troll doll laughing, me affecting an exhilarated gaze over Loch Lomond. Inside, there is a centimetre of rosé left in the bottle, a concession to self-improvement. Others include oat milk, Caniston, a creme caramel only half eaten, also kale, the bag half full of post-mortem purge. In the lounge, the dried peel of 17 oranges gather spores in the bin. 1 million books, bursting from the unit you built, piled under the side table. A book about Catherine Graham is a coaster for my lager, for the LP of Forza Bruta unsleeved, thumb-greased, slotted between Madness and Madonna. In a chipped bowl, a huge, impractical, plushy cow keyring you bought me to stop me eating meat. My keys won't fit in my pocket. In the bathroom, next to more abandoned peel, an ancient copy of Travels with a Donkey in the Cevennes your brother bought you. Oh, another book, I said. Your warm peach melba scent on the cushion. The scar of a thrown high-heeled shoe on the dado rail. The dust of you. The swirling motes of you. Invisible until the afternoon sun pours through the window, and I see your absence everywhere. There you go. That was a list of the contents of my flat 3 weeks after you left.
Great visuals in there, John.
Thanks, man.
Sort of metaphorical descriptions of the visuals, and yeah, nice.
Yeah. I was thinking I never do any description.
Yeah.
But I thought, what if you could create character entirely from objects?
You know what it felt like?
The starting point.
It felt like Through the Keyhole, where they go around people's houses.
Yeah.
Who will live in a house like this?
It is. It's clues
The
in
ghost
the
of
objects.
the mouth on the wine glass next to the bed. Yeah. No, seriously though. It had a bit of a movement to it. It's almost like you were sort of sweeping around the flat and and I like the little inference that these people split up because she was too clever for him.
Yeah.
It's just, without actually really saying it, but kind of just one being like, oh, books, you nerd. and she's eventually gone, do you know what? Fuck this.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Thanks, man.
I can see why that got shortlisted, John.
Thanks, buddy.
Shortlist as well. Short
I know,
list.
short
Not
list.
the long
not
list.
Long list.
The short list. In a proper one as well.
This is an actual proper one, isn't it? Yeah. Quite exciting.
Brilliant.
So that's
that's great.
that should really encourage us to do a bit more of that.
And it should encourage people to enter our competition, because if you can do it,
Exactly.
literally anyone can do it.
The failing writers can have something, shortlisted.
Yeah,
then,
God, yeah. If we
come
can,
on.
even worse, if we can do it, then it's like it's open season, isn't it? Come
It
on,
is. Yeah.
brilliant.
It's all fair game. So come on, get writing. I'm pretty sure that we've told you everything we need to tell you, but there's,
Do you know what? Sorry to interrupt, John. Just thinking there.
Mm.
You know what's brilliant? Your list of things in the flat 3 weeks after you left. It would be so easy to subtly weave in Too Many Forks into that story, and it would fit in
It
lovely.
easily would. You're absolutely
Wouldn't
right.
it? Goes to
Yeah,
show,
It does.
doesn't it?
Very good point, Tom. Very good point.
Yeah, so remember, it's 350 words. The theme is festive. The genre is what the bloody hell you like.
Yeah.
The phrase you need to include is too many forks. And the deadline is the 13th of December.
Yeah.
Friday, the 13th
get
of
cracking.
December at midday UK time. And it's £1 to enter through PayPal All the details, like John said earlier, are on our website.
Can I just say, if you're having one of those days, do you know what I mean? There's just a lot of information to take in. I've written a lovely, simple, step-by-step instruction guide for entering the competition, which we'll put in the episode notes. So if you don't want to mess anything up, just check that out. It's very, very straightforward, though. It's probably simpler than we're making it sound.
Yeah.
I'll put a nice step-by-step guide for y'all.
So with that, all that remains to be said is we await your entries. Come on, bring it on. Send them in. Can't wait to read them.
Very keenly, yes.
It's our favourite time of year.
It is. Thanks for listening, everybody, and especially you new people, because we always gather a few new people, don't we, during the competition period?
Yeah.
So hello and welcome. It's lovely to have you on board. I hope that's inspired you to get cracking.
Absolutely. Right. Goodbye. We'll hopefully speak to you again.
See you soon.
I flash it at you, you flash it at me. Everybody's flashing indiscriminately. She flashes it sexily, he flashes it messily. But for a competition, please do it festively. Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, before we start, Emily, how do you want your ceremonial entrance to play out? Because our star judges, as I mentioned, get to specify how they want to enter the judging arena.
I gather Kathy Hoyle came in via the medium of a cannon.
3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our multi-award-winning flash fiction fanatic, our star judge. It's the one and only Kathy Hoyle.
I'm going to go a bit retro. I'm going to go with Steam Train.
Like a romantic
nice.
brief encounter sort of.
Yeah, I'm feeling brief encounter retro Steam Train moment.
You'd like it to be in black and white as well?
Ideally.
Let's do it.
All right,
Yeah.
we can do
Let's do
that.
it.
We can do that.
Black and white audio, how does that work?
Well, you'll find out, won't you?
Definitely find out.
Hello.
Hello?
Where's everybody gone?